Alrighty, I want to talk a little bit about very particular topic in this video. It's something I get asked about all the time, or every once in a while, I'd say, and this question does rise up here and there, and hopefully this will clarify a lot of that. As I talk in this video, I will be playing Medieval Dynasty in the background for no other reason but simply aesthetic purposes, so I just suggest buckling up and enjoying the ride. I am 27 years old. I've been playing video games for at least half of that time. And throughout my life, I've laid my hands on some truly incredible titles, whether they were classics, story-driven, adventure and exploration, looter shooters, you get the story here. Amongst those years that I got to play and explore the gaming universe, I never truly got to experience a solid survival game. I think going back 10-14 years from now, survival games weren't as common and popular as they are today. And if there were a few, I bet they were very low-key unpopular and desired by a very few selected people. So due to low exposure for that genre back in the day, I never really knew about them. And instead, I focused on games that I knew very close to heart, games I felt comfortable with. And back then, I didn't really have the need to explore, nor do I think I really wanted to. And that lasted up until I randomly discovered DayZ mod for Arma. In fact, that was the very first time I realized how incredible survival games can get, realizing the potential that came along with those games, and most importantly, the sense of escape from reality. Not because I was depressed or anything, I'm not trying to sound dramatic here, but what I truly mean by that is, have you played a game that simply robbed you of your time? You just started playing and realized that it's already time to go to bed? That's what I mean, that sort of escape from reality. I think that's the best way to describe this statement. In any case, when I binge watched content creator pouring so much time into DayZ mod, I remember how fascinating it was to see how detailed the concept really was, and the freedom it provided to the player. There's open world games and there's open world survival games. Judging by the text on paper, there's only one word that makes them stand out from one another, right? But who would have known that that one word could play such a drastic role if we ever looked closer? Open world games provided freedom to its players to explore freely and discover things as they came, whereas open world survival games took that whole idea and mixed essentially a whole new way of playing the game. Now, instead of focusing on simply exploring, you are now dealing with the constant challenge and the threat, whatever that may be. So as I watched someone play DayZ, I just couldn't help but to think to myself, so this is the game that allows you to hide, go anywhere you want. The world is freaking massive. There's other players exploring this map right as I do, and on top of that I also have to fulfill my character's needs, whether it's hunger or the temperature, or even both. Holy crap, that is amazing. And all of that jump-started my interest in survival games. I remember desiring more of it. It was almost like a competition for me to try to discover games that offered even more than DayZ back then. I was simply fascinated by the idea of it. Then of course later came Minecraft, which opened a whole new concept of exploring, surviving, and now it's building almost anything you can imagine. And slowly those of us who discovered those games and fell in love with the survival genre in particular, we found a way to enjoy gaming in a whole different form. A form that wasn't competitive, a form that only some people will find enjoyable. Because let's face it, the survival genre isn't for everyone. Same goes with cozy/relaxing games. Games that are considered relaxing are only enjoyed by a very particular group of players. There's little and far in between. And now fast forward to 2024, look around you. There's so many survival games, so many cozy/relaxing games, titles that were unheard of, let alone impossible to imagine before. Arguably, games are having a lot of issues right now, and most of them release in early access, not because we downscaled in development and we got worse at it, or we're not as talented as we once were, but simply because our imagination for games has significantly been expanded with the things we create now. Even the software we use to this day is also 10 times more capable. The ideas are so overwhelming at times. There's so many brilliant people out there creating games that were simply unimaginable back in the day. I fell in love with survival games for the longevity of them. A lot of them are extremely replayable. Some of them are more grindy than others, but overall speaking, those are the games that allowed me to escape reality. And as I mentioned before, they do rob me of my time. Because of survival games, I actually began to enjoy cozy games as well. Games that are pleasing to your eye, don't have to put a lot of effort into them. In fact, I'm a big sucker for those games right now, and it's just where I'm currently at. Once again, this only applies to a few selected individuals, and perhaps that is also the reason I dedicate a whole channel to focus on those games. Mainly the games I cover in this channel are the games I truly enjoy, or at least they're in the same genre. I might not like all of them or find them intriguing enough to play, but I will certainly cover them on this channel. And hopefully this answers a lot of those questions. I hope this video found you well, my friend. Until next time, goodbye.